This is really one of my very favorite neighborhoods in all of Manhattan. I don't know if people can see the park back there. That's Gramercy Park, the actual park. And this is the neighborhood, Gramercy Park. That's the only private park in Manhattan. Really beautiful. You got to live around the park to have the key to get in there. I guess that keeps out the riffraff. People have seen me in this neighborhood before. Eric Braverman and Neil Brown live down that way, or, well, the apartment's registered to them according to the doorman who worked there for 20 years. Never seen either of them. That's very strange to me. I've lived in certain buildings around Manhattan for many, many years, and you get to know all the doormen. As a matter of fact, I'm coming up on one of those buildings right now. Yeah. Right here on Park Avenue and 20th on the corner, we can see we've got 254 Park Avenue South. Yeah. That's a building that I lived in from about 1991 or 2 until about 1999. 254 Park Avenue South. Got a scaffolding here. I don't know what's going on with that, but this building is a condo building now. It was a rental when I lived there. Look at the glass doors. It's been dramatically upgraded. I don't know when that happened. That happened early 2000s. Yeah, I was living there when it was a rental building. This was the first apartment I ever had in New York, and it was a pretty cheap rental. Well, by New York standards. I mean, I had just gotten out of college, or I was still in college, I think, when I started renting over there. And it was interesting. I found out that that was a rent stabilized building, and people can look up the details of what that means, but I think they were only allowed to increase it by 5% or 2.5% a year, depending on the nature of your lease. And towards the end of my rental period there, I had learned that the building had been overcharging and violating the law. So I sued them. Got a bunch of money. We've heard George Webb Swigert talk about multiple lawsuits. George does that, you know, he'll take information that's factual, like I've been involved in multiple lawsuits throughout my life, and then he'll twist it and he'll change it. And then his brother, who in my opinion displays characteristics of a psychopath, his behavior. I'm not a medical professional, so that's not a fact. That's just a matter of opinion. He makes some pretty psychotic videos threatening people and twisting facts, as his brother George does. So I sued that building, got a bunch of money, moved to the current apartment that I still live in 2000 or 1999, something like that. But anyway, sometime after I moved, that rental building, 254 Park Avenue South, which was kind of a dump when I lived there, they gutted it, turned it into a condo building. I'm sure all the smart people who watch this show and George Webb, his channel on YouTube, the George Webb Swigert Show, I'm sure people can look into when the construction happened at that building. But the building went from being a rental to being a condo. And that is the building that you see in the movie Weiner, about Anthony Weiner running for mayor. And Huma and Anthony, coincidentally, moved there and lived there well after I moved out. I never lived in the same building as Anthony Weiner. That's another way that they twist facts. They'll take some factual information and they'll twist it around, just like when George Webb Swigert doxed my ex-wife and encouraged all of his rabid fans to look her up and publish her personal information. It's an innocent woman who I have virtually nothing to do with anymore. We're just friends. She's got a family with another guy. Now, right now, what I'm attempting to do is visit my friends at Steemit. Oh, 228, I'm sorry, went the wrong way. Yeah, I've been investigating Steemit because it seems the more I talk about the evidence that seems to indicate that this blockchain-driven cryptocurrency-backed social media network appears to be a scam, the more I talk about that evidence, the more aggressive, moronic trolls like David Swigert become, with their threats, with their false statements, with their gross miscategorization of facts. Dave, you're not a military veteran. You were a contractor of some sort. There was no official U.S. military operation in Nicaragua in the time frame that you described. The only thing that happened in that time frame that I'm aware of is the Iran-Contra scandal, where CIA contractors, which perhaps you were, I don't know, they were flying cocaine and guns and money. So what was it, Dave? Don't lie, don't miscategorize the facts and say that I disparage military veterans. I've got multiple family members who are retired military. I've got friends who are retired military. I respect the military. I despise the fact that lying criminals make up false stories to draw us into wars that risk the lives of the brave members of the military. I feel for them. I think they're being taken advantage of just like the rest of us. They're being taken advantage of by lies and counterintelligence operations like the idiotic one that's being run by George and Dave, where they twist things and they manipulate people and they trick people by presenting partial evidence. Like, here's my phone bill with Cy Hirsch's phone number on it, but Cy Hirsch doesn't remember the phone calls at all. That's interesting. I wonder how that works. Anyway, I tried calling Ned Scott, the CEO of Steemit, because I want his opinion, I want his facts, I want his view of why I could be incorrect. I don't know if Steemit is or is not a scam. It seems like a scam. Financial experts can't seem to understand how it's worth anything, how the people collectively, making money from it, how it actually works. I know Dean Fougere, when he's not busy sucking on the deep state teat, selling fuel sensors to Halliburton and Kellogg Brown and Root and Chevron, working for his dad, who's not going to fire him because I call and say that his son's using his company's resources to engage in a harassment campaign. His dad's not going to fire him for that. But as I would deal with any aggro child, because Fougere acts like a 12-year-old, I first tried to speak to him, and he continues to be a petulant little brat. I'm going to tell his father, you got to control this kid. So, okay, Steemit, the address that they've got registered here is 228 Park Avenue South. And I used to live on Park Avenue South. That's where we are right now. So here's 222.
Yes, honey.
Okay, so this is 230. That's the delivery entrance for 230. So there's 222. Obviously the odd numbered buildings are on the opposite side of the street. So here's 222. This is the delivery entrance for 230. So that means that this building here is very likely 230 Park Avenue South. 222. Where's 228? I'd like to go visit Steemit at 228 Park Avenue South. It's a public listing of a public company, just like Dean Fougere's company. Here we go, 228 to 230 Park Avenue South. Let's see if I can go in there. Yeah, Dean Fougere's company publicly lists the phone number on the internet, inviting people to call and make inquiries like, how can I buy a jet fuel sensor? Why are your employees engaging in harassment? Publishing my phone number. Private phone number is not the same as a business phone number that you publish on the internet. So here's 230, here's 228, Earth Class Mail. Earth Class Mail. So is this Steemit? Let's see if I can make my way in there. I wonder if they'll not appreciate the stabilizer. Maybe I'll take it off stabilizer here. All right, 48884. Let's see if we can find Steemit. Hi. Is there an office 48884 in this building for a company called Steemit?
There's a P.O. box.
A P.O. box.
So if they're here, they get mail here. They're not physically here.
There's no office at all for Steemit here. Okay. Do you know them? Have you ever seen them, or you don't really?
No, we get a lot of customers here, so I wouldn't know them personally. They might be here, they might not.
So, but there are offices upstairs.
No. If you're looking for 228, this is all you're gonna get.
228, yeah. So this lobby with P.O. boxes is all that exists for 228 Park Avenue South. No offices in this building. No one's running a company out of this building. Okay, so that's interesting. And this is not that many P.O. boxes. It's just that's all the P.O. boxes, huh? Luxor One, that's your company?
Yeah, our company's aircraft mail.
I see, okay. Oh, Luxor One runs this thing here. What is that? You get deliveries or something in there?
Yeah, we get deliveries and they run here.
Oh, so people, they're probably advertising this on the internet and they want people to get mailboxes there. All right, great. Thanks very much. Well, dang. I was hoping I could speak to Ned Scott over there at the offices of Steemit. I wonder why they have a P.O. box and list the address for their company at a building where they don't have an office. I mean, you know, that's not necessarily an indicator of anything wrong. Companies can do that. It's certainly within their right to operate out of an apartment and have a Park Avenue address to make themselves appear more grandiose than they actually are. I can understand that. That's not an illegitimate business tactic. A lot of software companies and technology companies telecommute and have employees that don't work at their office and might not appear legitimate in the way a traditional company would. But I called Dan, or at least the number that was listed there for Dan, and it was a Google Voice number. So the 646 number, that is an area code for a New York City cell phone. That 646 number didn't seem to ring to a cell phone or a landline. It rang to a Google Voice number, which is just a VoIP, a voice over IP number, VoIP, that you can basically have ring on any phone anywhere. Guy could be in another country for all we know. We don't really know. But that's disappointing. I hope to find out some stuff about Steemit to try to determine if it is or is not a scam. Seems like a scam.